morning, my darlings. Welcome to a new vlog. I promise that this is the only scene. Do vlogs have scenes, or is that TV shows? Who knows? This is the only clip that will be filmed in the car, because I know the last vlog was very car vlog heavy. Charlie and I have done a workout this morning. I followed, so our personal trainer, lovely Simon, tragically for us, great for him, is moving to Germany. So we're not going to have sessions with him anymore, which is very, very sad. But he set us up on an app and is inputting workouts into there for us, which is great. So I put that to the test this morning and that was super in the gym. Then we had a nice breakfast and we've just done a dash around the shop to pick up supplies for our Strawtop Cottage guests that are checking in 3 hours. So we just plan on dashing over to Strawtop. Nothing's changed there since I last took you along, but I'll just show you what we're providing our guests with this time. It's always like the same value, but we just mix it up seasonally. So yeah, I think Charlie has opened up availability for booking for October and November now. I think we've already got Christmas booked. We took some advanced bookings, but yeah, I'll leave the Airbnb link down below. Plan for the rest of the day, I'm not too sure. I would like to do a bit of gardening. I've just seen, I'll pop a video on the screen here, this amazing like dried floral structure in the Bamford boutique, and I'd love to try and do a DIY of that, but I don't think I'll be able to do that today because I need to get some supplies. Oh, that's what I want to do today. I want to try making homemade granola because it's so yummy with yogurt or with like an acai bowl or something, and I figured it's quite easy to make it yourself. So I'm gonna try that, maybe take the boys for a walk later on and try and get some blackberries, because I'd also like to try and make some blackberry jam. Lots of fun foragey things that I'd like to do. Cool, it's warm in this car. But anyway, I will see you at Strawtop Cottage. I don't know why I said cottage so weirdly then. Here we are at the cottage. The herbaceous border is looking rather lovely. I'm going to just do a tiny bit of tidying out here, a few little dead bits that need to get pulled out. But first we're going to pop in the goodies for our guests. What treats do we have for our guests this week, darling?
We have from Dalesford, but the exciting thing is they're actually from Barefoot Bakery, who did our wedding cake.
Ew!
Because they bake cakes from Dalesford, don't they?
Oh, so I thought these were for us. These cakes.
These are for us. No, sorry. We're not having cake. Well, I'm not having cake today, so we're going on holiday on Saturday. So these
are my favourites. Yeah. For our guests, if by any chance you're watching, this is literally our wedding cake flavour. Rhubarb, raspberry and rose, isn't it?
Yeah.
Rhubarb, raspberry and rose. And you've got some organic raspberry jam, some fresh strawberries, eggs and bread. Lovely.
Yeah, what I like
no
to
spiders in the sink? No, it's really good.
What I like to leave is like enough for breakfast.
Yeah.
And then you've got multiple breakfast choices, because I don't always do it, but we've got organic yogurt for these guests, and then there's bacon, bottle of rosé, or a small bottle of rosé. These are nice. So it's gin, pressed apple and elderflower from Cotswold Distillery, which is literally 10 minutes from here.
Lovely.
Dunkerton cider to share.
To share?
Well, they're punchy.
They're
expensive, but they're also punchy, so I just leave one.
Nice.
Because they're like 6.5%.
I was literally looking at these chicken paintings in Dalesford earlier.
Yeah.
Very nice.
They're from a local artist called Charlie Clapp. And we've got one in the, we've got one at home, haven't we, in our downstairs bathroom. And then we've got these two, and then there's one in the bathroom here as well.
Nice.
Cool. So that's
right, job done. Okay, I just wanted to do a little bit of tidying of the border. There's a few dead bits to pull out. Charlie and I do like to do the final checks before our guests arrive. Charlie just said that maybe these might be our first guests of the year, of the autumn season, that light a fire. So you setting it up for them?
Well, so actually Kasia, our housekeeper who does the cleaning, I've shown how to do it. She does the Jenga.
The Jenga,
stack,
yeah.
With Jenga stack.
Yeah.
So she always does that. Normally she's forgotten to put fireworks in, but it's not a problem. I've just done it.
Yeah.
So I like it to be so that people can come and have a fire, light the first fire without having to faff around.
Faff about.
And if there's people that aren't aware on how to light them,
we've got a reel, haven't we?
We have got a reel. Should probably film a new one now. There's a few changes in
Oh,
here,
I don't know. It's quite an
Yeah, and
educational.
then obviously we've got the wood full there.
Yeah.
But these are all little things, to be honest, that we were frustrated to find when we've stayed in Airbnbs.
Yeah.
Where prime example, we stayed in Norfolk, lovely stove, There was no fire for the no wood for the fire, no kindling, no firelighters.
That is just not good enough.
But when you're staying somewhere for 3 nights in an area that you're not familiar with,
how are you meant to know where to get the wood?
Get all that from.
Yeah.
So it's one of our many reasons, and people do. We get very few messages, but occasionally people say, "Oh, it's expensive for £400 a night." To give people an idea, what we provide in the kitchen is nearly £50 worth of stuff from Dalesford.
And the wine.
The milk, the wine, all of that. So that's 50 quid, right?
Yeah.
The wood, all of this, that would cost you a lot if you wanted, you know, to do that. The coffee capsules, the herbal teas, the normal tea, all of those little bits are touches that what we would want from a holiday cottage.
Yeah.
Of course, someone might say, well, I don't want that, I'd rather the cheap price, but we're trying to offer something a bit different. So that's our view. Even look here now, we've got all this library of books. Got all the River Cottage books.
You put them in here too.
We've got novels for people that want to read a Cotswold novel, and we've got all these old Cotswold books I've collected. You've got in here. Look.
If you watch our YouTube videos, you come here and it's literally like you're staying in a mini version of our house.
Well, hopefully,
like so many of the same details.
Got all the maps, look, for the area, because there are some amazing walks that we've not even done from literally from here. Just little touches that I hope. And look, we're improving. We're always looking for ways to improve. I ask our guests that stay every time, is there things we can improve on?
And we've got some lovely bits in the guest book, haven't we?
We have, and then just very quickly, like even for example, obviously they're not for every shoe size, but we have wellies here, so people don't necessarily have to be in their wellies. If you're, I think we've got women's 6 and 4, and men's 9 and 11 or something.
Picnic blankets, tote bag.
So we're trying our best to basically achieve the sort of place that we would want to stay, because we have found it a bit frustrating going to Airbnbs that are lovely visually but don't have loads of things that you're not going to think to bring with you.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
Cool.
I do think Strawtop, I think, look, don't get me wrong, coming to the Cotswolds in the summer is amazing, but we're approaching now the best months
time
for
of
staying
year.
here.
Yeah.
Like when you're able to put the fire on, when you can go to, if you've got farmhouse membership,
so
the fire
cozy.
on there. The Fox at Oddington when the fire's on.
RH, 6 minutes away. Just go and have a look around there.
Just don't eat in the orangery.
No, eat here and then
recommendation with RH, go visit it, have a coffee, don't eat there.
Yeah.
But we won't go into that. But yeah, and so no, we're super excited. And as people know, we've got a second project, which is going to be happening
just
soon.
Through there.
And it's slightly different layout. We're going to have a mini Arga in there, some different pieces.
That's so exciting.
Which is exciting.
I'm jealous. Strawtop 2 gets a new Arga.
Well, I think what we're going to need to do, I think this year we need to stay here with the dogs because we've never done that.
Yeah.
And feature it, and maybe we'll discover other things that we think this needs. And then likewise, next door we'll stay there. The one thing that I am keen to do, which will be, and we can't do everything at once financially, but I'd like to give this area a bit of an overhaul in the early spring next year. New plants, new planters, just a bit of an overhaul. It's still nice out here, but a bit of a zhuzh. For example, that lollipop tree can go, and we'll put something really nice like a fruit tree in the corner or something.
Yeah. I'm excited to start picking all the furnishings and blinds and bits for Strawtop too.
Yeah.
That's where I get involved. Anyway, we need to get back to our little doggies and the animal. Well, there's our excitement for the day. We just saw a little French bulldog, little cute blue-grey French bulldog running down the road in Adderbury with no owner. So Charlie and I have just been on a rescue mission. Half the village is involved. I think Charlie managed to catch it. I couldn't keep up with the doggy, but Charlie's coming back smiling. Okay. Dog must have been reunited with his owner. That was so sweet. Literally, like, all the builders were running down trying to help. People were blocking off the road because this dog did not want to be caught. But yeah, we got the thumbs up. He has been reunited with his family. Oh my goodness. That was a very fast doggy with very little legs. Oh my goodness, today is literally disappearing. It is already time for me to start thinking about dinner. It's very early, but we had brunch like 7 hours ago and did a big workout this morning. But I do want to have, oh my goodness, I have just seen it, the biggest cobweb from our jasmine plant to the chair on our outside table. That is the biggest cobweb. Fun fact, did you know a spider web is one that the spider is still living in it, and a cobweb is one where the spider has evacuated it. There's your little snippet for the day. But yeah, so later on today, Charlie and I want to do a bit of border creation or border editing on the floral border out by the coach house, and a few other garden errands. But while Charlie gets started with that, it is my turn to do dinner this evening, and we received our HelloFresh delivery a few days ago, and I have already made the most delicious burger dinner with one of the kits, but the majority of the kits that I ordered for this week's meals, and it's been perfect this week because we are going on holiday on Saturday, so I can just pause the subscription at any time, but also I'm not left with a load of stuff in the fridge. The rest of the meals within this week's set are all starting to get a little bit autumnal, which is absolutely fine by me. Aside from now when it's starting to get a bit sunny, I've been craving really like autumnal comfort kind of food. So the few that I've got left, as I'm sure you know how it works with HelloFresh, it's such a wonderful idea. You get the box of your ingredients, you get the exact amounts that you need, so nothing goes to waste. You don't have to spend ages looking down all the different supermarket aisles to find really unusual ingredients. So for example, the curry, I wonder what the definition of a curry is, because this has not got curry sauce or anything, but it's kind of curryish. It would always take me a really long time to find these ingredients, if at all. So for example, we've got ketchup mani, not ketchup, ketjap, and that is something that I just don't have in my cupboards, and possibly even our local supermarkets may not even have it. But yeah, you get the exact amount of ingredients that you need for the meals. You can choose how many people they're for. You can see on the recipe cards how long it's going to take. It can save you so much time. Sometimes I find if I'm cooking something completely from scratch and I'm like foraging around the kitchen, it can take sometimes over an hour to cook a meal. This says 25 to 30 minutes. It's one of their classic meals. This other one that I've got here is one of their veggie meals. This looks delicious as well. Ultimate Matar Paneer. Again, paneer, North Indian spice mix, well, I probably would be able to find vegetable stock paste, but things that you don't necessarily have in your cupboards and could take you a very long time to find. That also looks absolutely scrumptious, but I think Charlie and I are both quite keen for this chicken dish this evening. So you do get all of your ingredients very, very handily put together in these bags. Super fresh ingredients. We've got a pepper, we have got red onion, looks like we're also going to have some garlic in here. I did already take out the chicken, that's been in the fridge, not just sat in the bag, which is absolutely perfect. And then super easy instructions. Oh my gosh, this looks delicious. Super easy instructions on the back, and this is hopefully only going to take me around 30 minutes to create. I do, as always, have an amazing discount code for HelloFresh. You can also scan this barcode that I'm going to pop on the screen here, and that will get you 60% off your first box, and then it's 25% off your next few months. Yes, 25% off the next 2 months and free gifts with the code Mumblr2023. What we will do is pop the exact link that you need to use at the very top of the description box, so you can click on that or click on the QR code. It's so easy, it's so time saving. You can choose from, I think there's around 40, in fact I think I read 44 recipes a week to choose from, so you'll never get bored. You can have so much variety in your evening meals or your lunch meals. Charlie and I like to plan ahead to organize 3 or 4 meals a week, and then we leave the rest to chance, whether it's a veggie pasta or going out for a meal or something else. But it's just, I cannot even tell you the last time that we went to a supermarket, because we buy fresh fruit and veg from local farm shops, and then we get these deliveries with meal kits, and it just means that we always have exactly what we need in the fridge. Nothing gets chucked out, and it kind of takes the thinking and the planning out of that evening struggle when you have decision fatigue. You've spent all day making decisions for work, and you just can't even begin to be creative and think what you're going to muster together for dinner. But I just find it very inspirational looking through the cards and thinking, yeah, that's what I fancy. Pull the bag out the fridge and you're ready to go. So without further ado, because my tummy is a-rumbling, let's get started with tonight's sweet and sticky, yum, chicken on rice with bell pepper and onion. Yum, Arillo, as they say. It's got information about the allergens. It even gives you tips on how to serve it. Love it. Literally cooking for beginners. If I had a child that was going to university, I would set them up with HelloFresh as well, because when you're at uni in halls, you just don't stock your cupboards with all these kinds of things. Like not everyone has corn flour or rice vinegar sitting around in their cupboards. So yeah, if I was a student again, I think I would order this. Anyway, let's get cracking. Because his ended up with a lot more of the colourful veg on top. But here we go, our delicious chicken curry for the evening. And you might have noticed I went a little bit off-piste and decided to do some courgette and feta fritters, just because we have so many courgettes that needed eating. It smells delicious, my mouth is watering, time to tuck in. Okay, my darlings, after our delicious meal, we are now going to spend the rest of the afternoon in the garden. That's the nice thing about eating a bit earlier. You feel like you can just get outside and there's no rush. No need to come in early for dinner. I'm wearing a very peculiar outfit now. It has gone a tiny bit chilly despite the sun. Say that and suddenly it gets really warm in the greenhouse. So I've popped on a little gilet over my dress and I've got pink little welly boots on. So looking really cool, but it doesn't matter because no one can see me. Except for you guys. But okay, so very excitingly, she says with a huge amount of sarcasm, it is our green bin collection day tomorrow. So I'm going to fill up the bins with bits that basically are just kind of done for the summer. So I noticed that some of my 8-ball courgettes need harvesting. I'm going to pull up a few of the overgrown courgette leaves. And I think, tragically, my sweet peas have come to the end of their life. At least some of them have. So I'm going to pull some of them up and add a little bit more fresh compost into the soil so that it can recover from all the blooming beauties over the autumn and winter seasons. It's very sad when you have to start prepping your garden for autumn winter, but it has been a very fruitful summer. See, these sweet peas are starting to look a little bit sad. There's a few pods on there which I'm going to pick and save the seeds so I can grow them again next year. Looking a little bit wild down here, a few things that need to get pulled up and tidied. My goodness, look at that Cavolo Nero going wild. Right, first of all, I'm going to harvest a few of these giant 8-ball courgettes. 1, 2. I had all but given up on this little courgette plant, but look, we have our first little yellow Gold Rush zucchini coming from there, and a couple more starting to grow in the middle. So we might have life in there yet. And while I'm just updating you, very excitingly, finally, my outdoor tomatoes are starting to ripen. That one might actually be ready. Oh, you could have gone in my curry. Maybe not, because they tend to come off easily when they're ready. I don't know. That looks pretty good to me. They're finally getting some sunshine. Oh, that smells amazing. Another beautiful big one there. Needs to do a little bit of leaf clearing. You want to allow as much airflow through your tomatoes as possible. And a couple starting to ripen over there. Endless bean harvests this year, which I'm very grateful for. And this is what happens when I don't check my courgettes for a few days. We have got a big, almost marrow down here, so this is going to have to be, I think, a stuffed courgette or another form of cake. Wowza trouser. First harvest of the day. No doubt I'll end up picking a little bit more. Gosh, I'm starting to run out of ideas with these courgettes. Please let me know your favourite recipes and I shall recreate them. This is another job to do at this time of year, and it is collecting seeds from your favourite blooms. So as I mentioned, I'm going to pick some of the seed pods from the sweet peas. I collected these a few weeks ago. They should have gone nice and dried out by now, but I'm just going to label up these. You can probably get these online. I'm sure you can get them on Amazon. Unsurprisingly, I got these from Dalesford. And it's just, yeah, basically some empty envelopes to pop your seeds in. So I'm going to be collecting more sweet pea seeds and also some nasturtiums because I've noticed that they have gone to seed, and I'll keep my eyes out if anything else is ready to be collected. So seed type, sweet peas, mixed colour, and it's the 28th of August 2023. So a little bit of a messy shot, but you can see how easy my job is with the nasturtium seeds because they're literally all just dry, sat here on the edge of the raised beds and down here on the floor. So I don't need to do anything aside from just collect them. I'm surprised no little squirrel or anything has wanted to eat them. But even that will be enough to do what I need to do next year. You can see this is what they look like when they are not dry. You can actually eat them. You often see them in salads as like a kind of alternative to a caper. But it's these little dried specimen that I am after. Well, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that, but that is pretty much the amount of seeds that you would normally get in a packet when you buy them from the shop. I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that I probably won't even need to plant any in this corner next year. I imagine that with the amount of seeds that no doubt I will miss and not pick up from the soil, it'll probably just self-seed, which is amazing. These tomatoes that grew over here, they actually self-seeded from last year, which is wild, quite literally. And I love that they're little orangey ones. So nice and different. Nice to just pop in with a little salad or something, or in with a veggie pasta. Yummy! I feel like I've picked loads from this plant this year. And there's still so many left to come. But yeah, this entire thing, I did not plant it. This is all self-seeded. I think I might leave the other 2 or 3 for a while, but this one is definitely ready to come down. It's not looking too sightly, and you can see lots of little seed pods. That's what they look like. You can kind of imagine how a flower, once it finishes, the seed pod emerges, like this little one here, it's not fully grown, emerges from where the flower was. Maybe I'll do one last pick. I'll bring a little vase down, do one last pick of the remaining blooms on here, and then, so this is a good example, this one here. I feel like we've come full circle because I'm pretty sure I knelt down here to show you sowing these sweet peas. But yeah, you can save a lot of money by collecting your own seeds at this time of year. So if we open up the seed pod, and these are not edible by the way, although they look like little edible peas, you can see we've got 5 little sweet pea seeds here. Now I kind of want to leave them out to dry a little bit, so I'm going to go and find a little dish and they can dry out, and then I'll pop them in a little envelope. Okay, I just watched a YouTube video and the guy recommended that you actually wait until they go brown. Ooh! Yes, I can tell. That's more what they look like when you buy them, this dark colour instead of the green ones. So I'm going to see how many I can find that are already dark brown, or light brown rather. But I did prematurely pick a few like this, so I'm just going to leave them, I think, in my greenhouse to dry out by themselves. Wow! Juicy, juicy sweet pea seeds. my darlings, we are back in the kitchen. I am kitchen, garden, like a little yo-yo today. But I know that if I don't stop gardening now, then I will run out of energy and I won't do this. And I really want to do a homemade granola. I actually can't believe that it's taken me this long to do it, but very inspired by the, I'm pretty sure it's homemade, it will be, granola that you get like a tiny little bowl of it with your acai bowl at Bamford, and it's just so yummy. I think they put a really nice amount of cinnamon on it. So that is what I'm going to recreate. So you can basically choose whatever you like to go in it and whatever flavours. The one that they have at Daylesford is actually doesn't contain pecans, but they are my favourite, so I thought I would add some of those in. A little bit of dried fruit. I've got a tiny bit of dried cranberry. I'm going to do some pumpkin seeds, some almonds, and of course you need plenty of oats. I also have this little packet of toasted almonds that I'm going to throw in, and then we sweeten it with a mixture of coconut oil, vanilla essence, maple syrup, sugar, and of course the ground cinnamon. So I will leave the measurements of each that I'm applying on the screen as I weigh them into my bowl, and then we basically mix the nuts and seeds with the liquidy sweetening ingredients and bake. So sounds nice and easy. Let's give it a go. Starting off with 500 grams of rolled oats, and then we want around 30 grams of each of the nuts. Okay, we've got a lot of oats and plenty of nuts added in there. Now I'm adding the yummy bits. The recipe that I'm loosely following says half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, but I am going to do a full heaped teaspoon because cinnamon is amazing. And a teaspoon of salt. Okay, now we're going to add in the liquid ingredients. So I'm adding a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Wow, I don't feel like that's going to coat that many of them. Melted coconut oil. Right, coconut oil's in the oven because it hasn't melted. Half a cup of maple syrup. Yummy. Just realised as well, this recipe actually doesn't need sugar, just have the maple syrup to sweeten. Okay, that is probably half of the amount of coconut oil that we need. I'm just having to warm it up in the oven. Cannot wait until we get back from Kefalonia and put the agar on again. My goodness. Okay, but it's looking good. I don't know if you saw from the little time lapse, but I added in more cinnamon and more maple syrup. I just think it needs more flavour. But we shall see. I might have completely overdone it. So I'm going to do a tiny bit more salt. It feels like a lot of oats, but I guess the one that I have with my acai is quite oaty. I'm going to have to try and recreate their acai mix next. Yeah, this is looking good. So I've also prepared a baking tray with some parchment. And what does it say here? Ooh, I forgot to add in dried fruit. Let's add in a small handful of cranberries. I guess you could also do goji berries as well. That might be quite nice. Not too bothered about the dried fruit. I quite like it to just be nutty and oaty. And then 21, that's very precise, to 24 minutes, stirring halfway in the oven. Press the stirred granola down with your spatula to create an even layer. And then you have to leave it to cool completely for at least 45 minutes, at which point you can add chocolate chips if you desire. Lovely. And then it stores in an airtight container for up to 2 weeks. Right, so let's do that last little bit of coconut and then get it in the oven. Right, here we go. Last little bit of coconut oil. Oh, that is perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And now I'm just using a spatula. I just want to make sure it's really evenly coated. I have to admit, I just tried a little bit with a teaspoon and it's delicious. Quite mapley, but delicious. Guys, I just realized my coconut oil went out of date in May 2022 and I've just poured a ton of it over my granola. I just googled it. Can you eat out of date coconut oil? And it says as long as it's not smelling funny, it should be okay. I'm gonna take the risk. If I don't appear in next week's vlog, you'll know why. It's a year and 3 months out of date, but it's coconut oil and it was sealed. I'm sure it'll be fine. But that's gonna go in the bin. Okay, the timer just went off, so I'm doing the halfway, I don't know, mix, I guess you could call it. It smells amazing, oh my gosh. I just wanna eat this all right now. So there we have it, my homemade granola. Charlie just tried a bit and it's got his nod of approval. He's even requested to have some on his yogurt this evening. I would say next time, I think I'm gonna do even more cinnamon, and especially at Christmas and in autumn, so it's gonna be heavenly. But for my first batch, I'm very, very happy with that. It didn't even take that much effort either. You can obviously mix around the different nuts and things you put in there and just really go wild with your own concoction. So this is gonna be what we'll have for the next week or so at home. And then the little Tupperware that you saw me putting together, we are gonna take with us on holiday. Yum, Orillo. So Charlie's gonna try out the homemade granola. What did you think of the curry earlier, darling?
Very tasty.
Good.
Very, very tasty.
And lots of it.
And pretty nutritious as well, right?
Pretty nutritious, lots of veg in there.
And that's the good thing.
Yummy.
That's what we've been saying about HelloFresh, isn't it? HelloFresh, the good thing about it is it gets people cooking from scratch.
Yeah, exactly.
It's super simple, very straightforward. And it means that you're not eating loads of processed food.
Yep.
Winner, winner.
Winner, winner. Quite literally, chicken for our dinner.
Yeah! Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Good morning, my darlings. It is another lovely day today. We have got a family day today. It's Charlie's nan's 92nd birthday party, which is wild. It's gonna be wild, as you can imagine. So I am heading into the garden to make a nice little bunch of flowers to take to Charlie's mum. And I'm also going to see if the apples on our apple tree are ready to be picked, because I would love to take an apple and blackberry. Bless you, Dexy. Gussun, my boy. I'd love to take a foraged blackberry and apple crumble, because that is Charlie's nan's favourite. I've got a feeling I've got a lot of courgettes to get through as well, so I think I might also take the blender courgette and peanut butter little muffins, because they are so redonkulously easy to make. It's the half-baked harvest recipe, and I think it was literally last vlog that you saw me making those as well. So first step is flowers, and then we'll go for a little walk with the doggies to go and see if we can find some blackberries in the hedgerow. Here is a little posy I've put together for Charlie's mum. So we've got a couple of really beautiful dahlias, the Labyrinth, the Cafe au Lait, which is leaning down a little bit. We've got some of the cactus dahlias, complete with Cotswold bumblebee, a little bit of hydrangea for some texture, and then a few little sweet peas in there as well. And I think that looks very jolly and lovely. Well, I'm glad to see that Dexy's been hard at work while I have been doing the floral arrangements, so I got a little bit carried away as per usual, and I've done 5 little arrangements. This one here is going to go in our living room. The ones I did last weekend have finished, they've gone over, so that is a nice little replacement. Let me tell you, this little beauty smells incredible. And so many anemones are now out, so I'm using loads of those. We've got some verbena in there, some laurel foliage dahlias, gladioli, looking lovely. Little jar of sweet peas, the ones... Are you okay there, little bee? Because you've not really moved that much. Might need to get him some honey. The one for Charlie's mum, a little mini posy for somewhere, and then a little jar of pom-pom dahlias, all looking very lovely. Now I'm going to quickly change my camera battery, and then would you like to join Mother for a little bit of blackberry and apple picking, baby? Or are you feeling a bit lazy? Come on, get your wellies on, Dex. Sadly, no doggies decided to join me, so I'm on a solo blackberry picking mission. Little lazy boys. Well, I must say this is very peaceful. I'm the only one in the field. Not a huge loot so far. Not many of them on this side are actually ripe yet. It's weird, when we went out for a walk a couple of days ago, they were all ripe, but as you can see, the sun is behind there. So I guess these, oh, this little patch there, I guess these don't get the full day's sun, which has put them behind a couple of weeks, but there's a few little areas like here. Actually, this is not a particularly good example, but just means I have to walk a little bit further. I think that little bit of hedgerow, I might be more in luck. Here's finished uncooked apple crumble. We'll pop it in the agar later on. I like to mix oats both in the crumble and have them on top, and you'll have seen me putting some sugar and cinnamon on the apples and blackberries in the mixture, so it should be very, very tasty. Got the balloons ready to go and some food to give the boys when we get there. I'm going to just pad the gaps in the tray with some tea towels so that hopefully everything doesn't go flying in the car.
Are we all ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Harry. Happy birthday to you.